Let's make it happen right here.
Let's go into it. The countdown has begun. This is GSTL, GSL, WC, Kvass. There's so many little letters in there, yo.
It sounds like some kind of gang. Wow. We're the GSTL, GSL, WC, Kvass, and this is our turf. Something along those lines.
Yeah. I think so. That's how they would say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I am well aware of what goes on in the hood. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you DDE from Team Sixjax. He is in the blue trunks. He is playing Terran to the northeast of the Kvass. I'm not repeating that. Versus his opponent from Team Alternate Attacks. He's in the red trunks. He is Socke to the southeast playing Protoss.
In this map, I expect both players to play very macro-orientated. Kvass allows you to do that with that hidden pocket expansion. I wouldn't be surprised if someone even tried to sneak in, you know, a Nexus first or Command Center first. On the other hand, because you can do that, there are still options to 4-gate. There's still 3-gate pressure builds you can do, and even sneaky 3-Rax plays like we've seen DDE do before.
That's really hard to say, isn't it?
I know, DDE do before.
We've got to slap DDE for that. How dare you choose that name? You're making our lives really difficult.
Maybe I should call him Dre.
Dre? Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Or maybe Sixjax or CJ. Or
CJ. We are the whitest people you know. Oh my. Right, well, we're going to find out one way or the other what's going to happen. Barracks is going to be first for DDE and a gateway, so neither of these guys willing to go for that. And
we'll have to see, will they follow up with gas or not. It's, well, the Protoss player will always go gas now on 14 or 15, depends if he wants to squeeze it in on 14. Yeah, he will squeeze it in on 14 and then build the probe directly after it. A lot of people do actually queue up and then get it on 15. You can squeeze it in on 14, sorry. And it gives you a little bit of advantage. And look at this, DDE going for a very fast command center, or, well, I guess I should rather say he's going for a mineral only style right now. Yes, so it could be the barracks pressure that we've seen before, or it could be a command center. The scout will happen for Socke. He gets lucky and he spots that. I'm being told that I'm pretty fly for a white guy, and I would like to dispute that, honestly. Pretty fly for a white guy. Dum 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 da dum dum. You could change that to like D D D D E D D D E. Yes. And of course, the irony of that being that DDE is the only non-white person in this particular game right now. Yeah, he's Korean. Yes, he is. Yeah, Korean, Canadian. But it's Canadian, so most of the magic has actually seeped out of him. As I said before, you lose your magical powers once you leave South Korean soil. Sorry, Select. We got so much hate for that. It's like we don't count Select, you know. It's like, yes, we do. Select is wonderful. He's fantastic. And it's like the new Dignitas recruit has like 6 months left before it all drains out of him. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to start out absolutely amazing, and then he'll realize that Manchester has been sucking the sorcery right out of him. Oh dear. Starts to get drunk and goes out partying too much with Manchester girls. Oh no. Have to prevent that, Odie, if you're listening. Indeed. Yep. We're going to have to prevent that indeed. Yes, I can only imagine the Koreans creeping on Manchester girls. You see what I did there? It was pretty good. It was horrible. We've got a command center coming down right here for DDE, and a Nexus coming down right here for Socke. No big surprises. Pretty standard, from Socke. He understands that DDE is gonna go for an expansion himself, and look at that. Oh, I love it. Ooh. I'm getting nerdgasms right now because that is a third command center inside the base. I love it, counteracting the fact that he knows Socke is going to go for a very fast Nexus as well. Yeah, very, very smart indeed. Please go and clean yourself up afterwards, by the way, once this game is complete. It might start to smell eventually. Here comes the second barracks to follow that one up. And, of course, this bunker will deny that. Stalk us out. You ain't getting in, sir. And look at that, a very fast robotics facility too. Excellent play from both players. I love getting a nice robotics facility. I don't really like to see 6-gate on this map so much. I much prefer to go for a very fast Colossus play, and that's what probably it's going to be here. We'll have to follow that, see if he adds on that robotics facility. Robotics play. He's getting the third gas now. Is this the rich one? Was it?
Yes, it is the rich one, yes. Okay,
so we can start mining richly from that Vespin geyser very, very shortly.
As I like to call the upper class. It's the upper class Vespin geyser. Yes, it's the rich Vespin geyser. Nice little garden around the side of it, I can imagine. A little cobble path going down. You can see, the little probes are wearing top hats. It's pretty standard. Top hats and monocles. Monocles, super standard. I would pay for that, actually. If Heart of the Swarm has the option to, say, add a bonus unit, which has a little top hat and monocle on it, that would be brilliant. We know we got this super Thor skin, this whole anime nonsense. Just give us top hats. It's all we really want. Hell, Valve has proven that.
I'm just trying to work out what Socke is doing here. I think he might actually still try to 6-gate because he keeps opening sentries for one, which is neglecting the fact that he can go for robotics bay. And yeah, he's going to add on an immortal, and he's going to play with immortals, which is a little bit surprising here. I guess he's trying to play to the fact that he knows DDE loves some marauders.
Yes, he does.
Is very heavy. You can really see 2 out of 3 barracks have tech labs on them. So this could be an interesting. Oh, what a beautiful scan! Absolutely fantastic. Sees that.
Everything.
He sees everything. He sees the 4 gateways. He sees the robotics facility. And I think that Socke might have to change his plan a little bit. And indeed, he's going to throw down a Twilight Council. Interesting.
Twilight Council and a Forge to back that one up. That's going to keep DDE guessing. Now, I have to say that DDE has lacked success in the past game simply because he has lost the ability to dictate what his opponent's doing. And I would think that maybe that scan would give him the information he needed to do that. I'm just very, very concerned that Socke knew about the scan. Of course, he saw the scan and he immediately reacts by completely switching up his tech.
Yeah, and this can actually, what Socke can do now is literally switch over completely to Twilight Council side. It kind of nullifies the fact he got a robotics facility, but it's also mind games with DDE, who's going to be expecting some form of Colossus maybe, or a mortal push. So he might do that. He might start to research leg speed like he has done previously, or blink. And it's going to be blink, okay. So he's going to research blink now. And Socke loves to do this on this map. He'll go around and he'll put pylons down on the 3rd base, try to trick you in thinking he's doing that, and all of a sudden, bam, huge attack onto your 3rd base.
It works, there's no question. Socke actually producing an extra observer. He was making it early. Either that was destroyed. I think maybe it was destroyed because, yeah, he definitely was. There was one in his base, so that was scanned and killed. He's making sure he has 2 observers out at all times to give him great vision on the map, and of course, any sneaky ghost play can also be denied. Admittedly, that's not likely early on. The thing is with DDE, you never know what to expect, and that's the real problem. So Socke's preparing for everything.
And Socke's checking around the map to check for any hidden expansions. It's Terran strategy. People do that here. Hide expansions on the rich Vespian Geyser. He's making sure that is not happening here. He does need to actually go ahead and scout the 3rd base though. He is checking where the army is of DDE, but he isn't checking for that 3rd base. If he knew that, he could probably push out straight away now. He is adding on an additional 2 gateways, so we're going to have 6 gateways in total, and it is going to be a 6-gate push here along with +1 attack just finishing.
Yeah, plenty pressure. That said, he's going up against +1 attack on the Terran side of things, so that's pretty much going to cancel each other out. Admittedly, it'll certainly help the Immortal. They're going to chew through that. Lots of extra damage for that one. That said, I am still a little bit concerned for DDE because that is a lot of pressure and a wonderful shot right there, bringing down one of the medevacs immediately with the blink, and that it will give him a slight edge, and that's really what he needs. Army supply count is slightly in favor of Socke right now. He doesn't have a forward pylon that he can use in this position, but he does have one placed, as he said before, in that area to try and deny the expansion onto that rich Vespian Geyser, and there is the force field divide. That said, his Immortal has been caught out of position. Lots of fire coming down. The shields buckle. However, it stays alive, but only just. And in he goes once again. A little bit of Blink. Stalker Micro is not good enough. DDE nails down a sentry in the process. However, what's the size of his army? It's actually slightly smaller than DDE's. He must retreat.
Huge problem from Socke. He did not have a reinforcing pylon close to his army.
Yes.
They are all over the place, but not in the correct places. Therefore, a lot of units were split up. They were trying to scramble to get there, so the attack failed. He could have very well killed DDE right there and then. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and oh my god, excellent use of the factory here. Scouts the 3rd base, scouts that the attack has failed. It's going to pull back onto an expansion, and this very well could trigger DDE to go for a timing attack of his own once this armor upgrade finishes, or even before, because he has so many medivacs actually. Realizing that there are no Colossus in play, doesn't need to start any Vikings, and Socke could be on the back foot now because of this.
There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on with DDE right now. He's actually building an armory to go, I imagine, for 2-2 upgrades, but he's also building the Mobius reactor for Ghosts. So this is a much earlier Ghost play than what we've seen before from DDE. Usually adds them on much later on when he feels like it's a good idea, and as it turns out, out it's going to be perfect because the Templar Archives is done, the Psystorm is on its way, and that will be absolutely fantastic to try and deny those. That said, they kind of cancel each other out. Obviously, you can EMP the High Templar, but the High Templar can also feed back the Ghosts, so it really comes down to who gets the shot off first and who is the most accurate. We've seen Socke do some amazing feedbacks this tournament, so I'd certainly put him in the premier position in that regard.
So he's trying to wait to get plus armor out. He can't really wait because he's going to go a nice factory placement, though, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, very, very cool. He is able to at least try to split up this force. The factory will die for his insolence. That said, DDE is doing some good damage, pumping rocket after rocket into his opponent's forces, allowing a couple of medevacs to die as Socke smartly targets fires 1, 2, and 3. Psystorm was not complete, needless to say. More Zealots warping in. DDE's attack starting to falter right now, but he did get a good salvo on those Zealots, and they've done minimal, if no damage whatsoever. He still lives, and that's going to be a real problem for Socke. Down goes that cannon.
Uh-oh, and down goes the Nexus 2. He's target firing it, and if that goes down, that is horrible.
Ooh, bang, she said, and off he goes. Socke trying to pounce after that one to try and do as much damage as he can in Vengeance, but he's not able to follow that one up. DDE will fall back to his defensive position with these bunkers as well, and a stim is quick. It is used. Unfortunately, it did drain a lot of health for no real reason and didn't catch anything out, but that was a great attack by DDE.
Nice bait of a stim there by Socke, forcing that extra damage, trying to salvage some of the engagement there back into his favor. A lot more bunkers have been added on now, and he is going to expand behind this. He doesn't have Storm Research. Oh, he does have Storm Research, actually. Just didn't have enough energy. And those storms can prove very vital, especially on Crevasse. There are a lot of small areas. If you're not fighting in the center of the map, there are a lot of tunneling positions here that can maximize the damage output from those storms.
I'm interested to see how he's able to proceed from here. The level 2 weapon upgrade is coming in for Socke. However, there's double ups for his opponent DDE, who is grabbing himself a level 2 infantry as well as infantry armor. Socke pushes forward once again. Army supply is in favor of DDE, and he has a favorable defensive position once again with this triple bunker on defense, which he keeps doing. It's very, very smart. I mean, it's taking a little bit of time to kind of waddle his marauders through that narrow choke point. Now lifting up the orbital command to go and take this 4th base. Will he be secure enough? He may very well be. These storms could be his undoing, though. We've seen DDE fail to storms repeatedly.
And here comes some feedbacks on all the ghosts, and they're gone. No more EMPs.
Perfect.
And a storm. That is really nice from there, Socke.
There's one ghost remaining. A single EMP is all he has. It was perfect. We expected Socke to be able to nail down those ghosts, and he proves that once again his feedbacks are pretty much perfect 100% of the time. Now DDE is not willing to go anywhere, and you can hardly blame him.
He's taking a 4th base now, and observers in great position see the army, see the expansion. Socke knows he's on 3 versus 4 base now, and he's going to have to do something about that very, very shortly. +2 attack about to finish, another Immortal coming out. Robotics Fate finishes is not going to be able to really utilize that too well, and a big attack coming from DDE.
Yep, nicely timed as well. The level 2 infantry weapon does complete. The infantry armor will follow up. He really does kind of have to go now before the Colossus start coming out. That said, I am really concerned about the number of Templar that's in Socke's army in comparison to the number of Ghosts. Those Ghosts will be sniped off almost immediately, I can only imagine. The thing is, Socke knows exactly where that army is and what it's composed of, thanks to that excellent observer placement.
And 4 counterattack Zealots going right into the mirror line on that base. Really nice move.
Yep, he'll do a good damage here. There's the charge, and in the meantime, the meat of DDE's forces will start to engage. He snipes off one, but he eats a huge storm in the process. That said, it was only the front line. He can heal that up.
Yeah, that wasn't really too nice storms there, to be honest. And nice play from DDE, forcing them out there. A little bit of a shame from Socke to kind of leave the High Templar at the front, but he did do a lot of damage to that potential force base there.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Socke just deployed those in a defensive position, once again trying to zone off his opponent, saying, don't come in here. We do not want you here right now. And that would be smart because, of course, the moment has kind of passed right here for DDE. He's going to go for it anyway. Eats another storm in the process. The Ghost gets sniped off. Very nice. Another storm. This time DDE a little bit quicker on the mark. Oh, that was brutal on the flank right there. Follows it up, and DDE getting routed right here.
3 Immortals in that mixer doing all the difference here, but does he have enough? He doesn't have enough Zealots, so it looks like all these Stalkers and Immortals are just going to instantly go down. Oh my god, Archon at the front, please. Yes.
Yes,
all right,
indeed.
You're going to clean it up. Very nice, but reinforcements from behind here.
not enough as far as I'm concerned to clean up those Archons. They're doing great damage, especially with a +2 right here. And in the meantime, Socke, as we showed before, actually did manage to completely deny that fourth. The orbital command is still airborne. It's not willing to redeploy. Could have redeployed and started to get mules working on that once again. He hasn't done that. Socke defending quite nicely, honestly, holding on to this. Still sitting right now on 4 bases versus his opponent's 4. But again, it's been denied for so long. This could have been mining. The income will now start to swing back in favor of DDE thanks to the mules, but Socke had an effective bit of harassment there and defended very well.
And an awesome tech switch from Socke here, going over into Colossus now. Hasn't started Thermal Launch yet. I'm sure that will begin soon, and more Zealots are on their way now to go harass that 4th base once again. And look at the vision of Socke. Sees so much of the map. Sees the observers everywhere. Really nice play.
Yeah, it's great. It really is. He's got several pylons. He's got probes just lying around the place. Here come the Zealots once again for yet more harassment, and DDE forced to pull all those mules off. That's so big. Obviously, since mules disappear when they're not mining, they are absolutely worthless, and denying those mules is perfect. He was able to do that. He will now actually just have the mules hang around and be completely wasted. Brilliant move there by Socke.
Still a little bit behind in the economy race though. 154, not the economy race, sorry, the supply race. 153 to 154 for DDE. Now looking at the upgrades as well. DDE at 3-2 +3 attack versus the upgrades of Socke only 2-1, just now beginning +3. DDE with a clear army and upgrade advantage here.
Yep, his army supply count is a full 16 ahead of Socke's. He's got the firepower that he needs. He's even upgrading Terran ship level... Yeah, let's try that one again. Terran ship weapon level 1 deliberately to deal with the Colossus that he must suspect are coming. That said, he's not building a huge number of Vikings. We do have a drop over to this side right here. A storm will clean that up, I can only imagine. That was efficient and brutal, which is to be expected from our German player.
But now the big force in the middle of the map, he does see it all clumped up in the middle of the map. If he could somehow get some storms on that, it would be awesome. Or feedback. Oh, feedback
on the ghosts once again. What a brilliant shot.
But now DDE has a 4th base up and running, and now also has taken a left-hand side base. Doesn't really have any mining bases left, though. And on the other hand, Socke's natural's mined out, his main is mined out, and he is getting up a 5th base of his own, though. Crazy. Oh my god! SCV transfer completely shut down in the middle of the map, and that was a lot of SCVs killed there.
Yes.
42 in total in this game.
That's brilliant play, but there by Socke, absolutely fantastic. A couple of pylons have been picked up, so Socke is supply blocked for the time being. That's not really a huge deal. He can very easily sort that out, and this expansion is now complete. The planetary fortress is up. He'll be able to deal, of course, with a little bit of Zealot harassment, but nothing much else, and a big push by Socke could easily clean that up. That said, look at the number of Marauders. There are 39 on the field right now, very few ghosts, but he's building 5 at once right now.
5 ghosts at once. They will change the tide of this battle for sure. How many high tempo does he have now? Doesn't really... Well, okay, there they are. There's 4 there, 5 in total. There's a lot of storms there. Depending on how aggressive Socke is with these storms, will definitely change the fight. More aggressive Zealots on the left-hand side, but fortunately for DDE, this is a planetary fortress this time. Socke even taking a back base now, trying to consistently stay on 3 mining bases. Excellent maneuvers here.
Yep, Socke throwing away a Zealot right there. I assume he just wants to build it into something else, and I can hardly blame him. He is almost supply capped, and he is building a Dark Templar Shrine once again. I don't know how effective that's really going to be. That said, he could spread his force very thin. I'm fairly sure he built one earlier. Was it destroyed or did he cancel it? I can't really recall. DTs have not really been a huge factor in this game thus far.
And look at this, High Templar and 3 Stalkers on the left-hand side now, trying to get into good position. Planetary Fortress is good against melee, but not so good against ranged units. And it looks like a baiting storm, actually. High Templar will be sitting there waiting for units to come clean these Stalkers up, and they will eat a huge storm if DDE falls into that trap. Extremely
clever play there by Socke. The question is, will DDE fall for it? DDE actually researching building armor. Not a particularly common upgrade, but good late game just to give you some more survivability to all of your buildings. DDE with a huge number of now idle SCV, simply because he's not willing to go in and mine with those Stalkers so close. And he's got this big unwieldy force that he wants to bring down on something, but Socke's being very evasive. He's preventing him from doing just that. He gets the scan, he sees where the majority of the force is, and DDE will roll out to try and intercept.
No, he's waiting for personal cloak to be finished. As soon as it is, he'll cloak up, go in, EMP. There he goes, turns around, cloaks, EMPs. Now he's going to come in trying to get some big damage in. Socke will not see these ghosts whatsoever.
The Observer is slightly out of position, so you are absolutely 110% correct. Good damage right there by DDE. Socke's forcing a little bit of disarray. Here's a spare Observer, however. He's got 3 on the field, and he has no idea those ghosts are going to be sliced to pieces. A huge storm in the front right here. The ghosts ripped apart. That said, a lot of Socke's force got devastated there. That's just a huge army. He just brought it down on Socke's head, eats another storm, and those are more so defensive storms to try and stop anything more. Really smart stim right there through the storm to try and snipe off some Templar, and he manages it. More aggression coming in right now, plowing his way through the defenses of Socke. Huge storms divide the force. The attack of DDE starting to peter out, but still huge amounts of firepower that Socke cannot handle.
Socke threw that game away by missed unit control. He had Zealots he clicked down to basically his old third base, and DTs are coming in but no use. Oh my god, Socke's threw this game away. He definitely had this. And simply because Zealots were at the front, and then he was trying to scramble his units back together. Then Colossus were at the front and trying to get his army back into position. They were all clumped up. EMPs, DDE taking full advantage. And wow, I can't believe Socke threw that.
Yeah, DDE is just going to clean everything up now, and indeed, why would he not? There is a Dark Templar in the mix trying to do some damage, but Socke is in complete disarray. He's not warping in anything right now. He's floating 2,000 minerals, and there's the big scan. Finally deals with that after DT takes several casualties away from that. Some Zealots warping in to try and do a counter push, backed up by High Templar, but more to the point, what has Socke really got left in terms of mining bases?
Nothing. He has one that's almost gone now. He's trying to get up another one, but that's going to be shut down instantly. And I'm still in shock of Socke right now. Unfortunately, just messing up with, simple mistake because of the way that the higher ground and lower ground is. Units went to the left, other units went to the right. They were cut, split up in 50-50. Really unfortunate for Socke. I'm sure he's going to be kicking the table right now.
Oh yes, DDE's rear guard eating the brunt of that Psy Storm, which really wasn't all that effective as a direct result of that 2 Marauders kill, but Socke is very limited in terms of the forces he has on the field right now. Dark Templar are being warped in across the map to try and do some harassment. DDE's force has been split down the middle now. I have to point that one out, but he does still have a lot of firepower at his disposal that he can bring down on Socke whenever he so chooses. He's got safe expansions for the moment. The DTs may be able to prevent that, but we will see. In comes DDE's force from the flank once again to deny this base.
Yeah, he's going to stim, kill this base. Might not even need to stim. And Zealots do come in. He has got a lot of Zealots here, but the main army of DDE is not that one. It's the one coming down the right-hand side now.
Smart.
So this is just completely distracting Socke while DDE marches down to that base and definitely will snipe it off this time.
DDE actually looking to intercept a great pickup. Really good clutch grab right there by DDE with those 2 medevacs. Gets out of position, and now this big force moving down the center to destroy this base that he failed to do so before. The High Templar getting hit pretty bad. There's a Storm. DDE trying to back out. Storm's doing minimal damage. He runs through his own Storm, does a lot of damage to his own troops right there, and DDE is still divided, however. He needs to bring down the full force of his army on Socke, otherwise he'll end up getting picked off bit by bit.
Despite DDE playing so well, I don't think he's really adding on enough production to his economy. I mean, look at the amount of minerals he's got. He's actually building from everything, but he's not. I think he could add on a few more structures here to actually get rid of that money. And he just doesn't have enough units out. And even with a drop in the south here, as you're seeing now, cleaned up. Socke doing a lot of damage with the units he has, but he doesn't really have the economy to back it up. He's trying to get these bases back up. If he can, then that's going to be good because there is more harassment on that left-hand side, killing a lot of SCVs. 2, 1, 3, 3 stalkers in 3 kills altogether from these stalkers, but there is a back base from DDE as well right now.
Yeah, the question is, will it be able to stay alive? Because Socke might spot it. He doesn't know about it just yet. There is a Templar that's hidden away in the corner. Those Stalkers will not be cleaned up because there's a nice little clutch blink, and he might even take a few freebies, but it's not going to happen. Planetary Fortress guns it down and takes one, but that might be a dead mule right there. No, there we go. Stalker cleaned up, and right now we're just back to a stalemate.
Yeah, this game's kind of stabilized, but the advantage clearly still with DDE.
Yes.
Has 3 fully mining bases now. Has quite a decent army size as well. Looking at the army tab, it's 104 to 54 of Socke, so he's got quite a commanding lead. A drop is still available in the south location for him that was never really cleaned up properly, and it looks like he's going to go in with cloaked EMPs.
Yes, and here he goes once again. Feedback being applied. However, the EMPs were already fired off, so it didn't make too much of a difference. Or at least I think he actually used. If he used an EMP there, he missed most of the zealots. I think maybe that was a bunch of sniping going on. But whatever the case, he used up the energy. There's the storms. DDE definitely moves out of most of them, and a quick cleanup right there by DDE. So this is once again a sledgehammer he can apply to the face of Socke. There's one base down, and that really limits him. This second base is extremely vulnerable. It will die almost certainly.
Yeah, it's going to go down now, and this is going to be tied up to 2-2 now, I think, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yes, you are correct.
It is going to go to 2-2. These last remaining units from Socke coming in, but get picked off anyway before they even do anything. All the probes are going down now. The probe count down to 2019. Oh, not looking good for Socke now.
Not really whatsoever. And there's the GG, ladies and gentlemen.